G'day and welcome to the Inforunners. I'm Execute, joined today by Algared, and welcome to the first day of Invictus with Anvil Aerospace. How are you doing, Algared, man?
Probably looking better than you look.
Thanks, bro. Thanks. No,
It
it's
is
almost 3 a.m. for us here today, and Algared and I have had very little sleep. You can tell by the bags under my eyes, but yeah. So we're going to be also be giving it away. With this video, we're going to be giving away a Legionnaire. We're going to, what I've decided is I'm going to do a random comment, and basically you got to be a subscriber. And at the end of Invictus, on the last day, we'll announce that. We are considering giving away a couple of other ships, and we'll announce them on those days. So on this video specifically, if you are subscribed and you leave a random comment, you have a chance at winning a Legionnaire. And it's the concierge one that comes with the skin.
So with that in mind, like, subscribe, and hit that bell.
Where's the salesman, Algared? I love it. All right, let's kick it off to
the... we got to do it. We've got to do it.
It's the algorithm, man. What can I say? All right. Was there any highlights here for you, Algared? Just real quick, because there wasn't really anything for me.
Probably the highlight. The highlights the starter packs that are available.
And we will go through those, but we're going to go through every...
They were probably the biggest highlights.
Yeah.
The Legionnaire is great. Watch our live stream from yesterday, because we go over that in, I think, fairly good detail. We
can go through that really quickly.
Actually, yes, because it is on the Matrix at the moment.
Yeah. So long story short, it's a two-person boarding ship. And its main thing is basically it's a ship-to-ship boarding, where a lot of the other ships that are like drop ships and stuff like that we've seen, not quite the same. So it does have a unique place, and it does look like it may you can probably tell me, Algared, is it a small landing pad? But that's what it looks like it's going to be. It looks like it's actually going to be able to take off from an Idris and maybe a Kraken and stuff like that. So that it's little niche. Not very...
We couldn't work out yesterday. It looks like it's small. We couldn't work out whether it's small or medium.
Yeah.
If it's small, it'll fit on the Polaris, the Odyssey.
Yep.
And the small pads on the Kraken.
Definitely makes it more versatile than the others, because they're all medium. So that's what we're hoping. We're hoping that the reason for its existence is so it can take off from small pads.
Yeah, and that would also make it an ideal pairing for the Liberator as well. If it's medium, then you're looking at Kraken and Javelin as being the main place where it lives. The big question we're not sure of is the height, and whether that will impact or make it, even if it's a small pad, whether the height of a ship at 10.9 meters, I think it was.
No, I think it's 10.2, but the previous highest was 9.5. I'll just have a quick...
But the question is whether that will be able to get out of Idris. So
there you go.
10.2.
10.2. So yeah, it's the highest small ship we've ever seen, and that's why we're like, maybe. But if it does drop to a medium, that and when I say drop, it actually increases to a medium. But yeah, for me though, it's an earning game. What about you, Algared?
I do like the ship. I am very tempted to pick it up because I do like the ship. If you're someone who does like that boarding, and I like mainly it's the look of the ship rather than the gameplay it offers. If you're someone who likes that gameplay and you've already picked up a hoplite, I actually think this is a better ship than the hoplite, and it's actually less than half price.
So the only thing about the hoplite though is you still can switch the modules with the other variants. So the hoplite is the cheapest way to get the Vanguard, if you want to kind of get those other modules in game. For me, I would not be offended if we give this to someone and they upgrade it to something else. Like, I'm not even kidding. Just because, because it's it's an earning game for me. 100%.
As I said yesterday, this is a possible. The price point of this was a lot. It surprised a lot of us in terms of being as low as it is.
Yeah,
I can understand why it's as low it is, and it's a good thing.
So when I talked to Badgers and SA, they both thought it was going to be about $300, and I said $250. So that kind of shows you how much we missed the ballpark by.
When I saw the style, I'd have put it around, and what it can do. I'd have thinking, it's going to be around the price of a hoplite.
Yeah.
Which would have been around the Execute pricing as well.
It's very niche, and during the live stream I said it's kind of similar to the Eclipse, where it's a boarding ship that like it's not really a combat craft at all. It kind of going to go in after, and a lot of the military guys back to what I said here is it's going to kind of go in after the combat's over, like all the ships are dead, and then you're going to move in to then infiltrate and take out just the last holdouts on the Idris itself. Or whatever the ship you are that you're boarding. I said Idris, but you get what I'm saying. So yeah, again, I think the takeaway there, Algared, is it's an LTI token.
Yeah.
Not the smallest one for this sale though, with the mule coming. So I'd probably say get the mule as an LTI token, just because you're probably going to be able to get more CCU chains in there.
So in terms of the questions we had about the components, according to the Matrix of Lies, it has small radar, small computer, 2 small fuel intakes, two small regular fuel tanks, 1 small quantum drive, 1 small jump drive, a small quantum fuel tank. That sounds very similar to what I was reading on the Terrapin yesterday. So it is basically a Terrapin with its pants down at the back.
All right, let's move on then. The Arrow, Algared. What's your thoughts on the Arrow?
Arrow's a nice little fighter. I think it's still the meta, isn't it?
It's still in the meta, but it just kind of really limits to you to what you can do. And I'd still recommend an Avenger over this, just because you can do so much more. But if combat's your thing, this is a very good fighter for the price. But again, for me, it's an earning game.
I'm not sure if it's on discount at the moment.
No,
but 75 not too bad. But it's one you can fly. If you don't own it, fly it free today and test it. And if you do like it and you really want to ship, and you want to toss out our Melt Your Fighters, go for it.
Some of these prices may be in the Australian dollar thing. No, they're not. They seem to be in American. So, okay. Ballista, $140 value. It's a vehicle, very overpriced for what it is. It's 100% available in-game, by the way, so you can just earn it in-game right now. It's a pass for me. Algared, your thoughts?
Yeah, it is pretty much as you said. Again, if you're interested in or you don't know what it's like and you want to try it, it's free today. Try it.
That's it. Pisces, not always available. I think it's a really good ship. I would say it's probably one of my favorite starters. But again, if you can afford to get to the Titan, it's better. But if you can't afford to the Titan, it's probably my favorite. Except they all seem to have one drawback, and the drawback for this guy is no bed. But that said, if you can live without a bed, this is probably the best of those initial starters. Algared?
I do think that this is normally available as a starter pack, but it's certainly, in this particular starter pack at the moment, it's a 25% discount on what it normally is.
Yeah, I honestly can't remember whether it's available all the time, but from what I remember, it's only available at sales. So what we're gonna do?
It's certainly cheaper than normal, at $45 rather than rather than 66 or so.
So what we're going to do now is just look at these packages, because this is something Algared wanted to talk about, and I agree with him. So there's a $49 package. It basically comes with the Invictus Blue and Gold. That's the kind of incentive they're trying to sell you on here. And a little bit of starting money, but you don't get any LTI or anything like that. And it basically makes it $5 more, but you get Star Citizen with it. I think that's a pretty good deal. The other one, I've now lost it, haven't I? Is this one? No, wrong one. This one. Sorry, I'm tired. This also comes with Squadron 42 for an additional $20. So again, normally Star Citizen's $49. So I think that's a good deal if you don't have it. The only drawback, obviously, is it's 120-month insurance, and a lot of us like LTI. But yeah. And you get an exclusive skin that you can't buy any other way. Algared, I think that at $65 is pretty good for both games.
Yeah, I was, when I first saw it, I was thinking that doesn't make sense, because, I was used to being able to attack on Squadron 42 for $15. So for me, it was just, you're paying an extra $25 on the base price to get your Squadron 42. So it is a saving. I'm not sure how they're doing their $15 saving based on what the normal price of tacking on a Squadron 42 is now, because it's usually $49.
Yeah, so it's basically 50% off that $49.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how they're saying you save $15. I'm just not sure how they're getting their math. But yeah.
It's still pretty cheap. 65. So put it this way: it's $60 for a full price game. You're getting 2 games for $5 extra, and you get the ship that you start with, and you get an exclusive skin, and you get a bit of money in game. So it's all. I feel comfortable saying that's a good deal.
When you look at the ship normally being more than an Aurora, and that's the price you normally pay for roughly for an Aurora combo pack, it's a good deal. Yeah. Can't disagree with that at all.
Yeah. So yeah.
The other one that's a really nice pack, and if you go to the Invictus, top of the Invictus page, you see that one pop up, is the scroll down a little bit and you get the ships that are there, and you get our all-too favourite, showing them in their beautiful blue skin, is the Titan. And that, at that saving, I think is probably the best of the starter packs.
It's pretty good, but again, yeah, it's on par. So what I'm saying is, the other way to do it, honestly, Algared, would be still buy that package and pay and CCU it to the Avenger. That's how I would go, because you're getting Star Citizen, Squadron 42 at such a discount. So that I'd get that and upgrade to the Avenger.
And given the price,
you can do that later. You don't have to do it straight away either, because Avenger's available all the time.
And given the price of the C8X versus the Avenger, that price jump is not that much. It's like maybe $10. I'd have to go back and look. I honestly just can't remember the pricing at the moment.
I believe you are correct. At $10. All right, Carrick, still one of the best value ships in the game per dollar value. That sounds crazy when you're talking about $600 ship, but it is true. It does a lot, but it is the king of exploration, but you've really got to be into exploration, right? So if you're not into exploration, that's a pass. But a lot of people are into exploration. I think the last time we looked at a vote, it was like 76, 78% or something. So it's really high.
That is a very old vote. That's like when the game was being first looked at.
Yeah, we're going back to like 2016 or some shit. So it's quite
the biggest drawback with a Carrick is the fact that you really do want a crew with you, because the pilot doesn't have any guns to use himself. But that is a great ship.
Yeah, and especially considering you actually get a Pisces with it and a rover. So that's a 3-ship in one package.
Yeah, so you get a Pisces C8 included in the pack, not the C8X, the base Pisces, and you get an Ursa rover included with that ship. They don't show up, but they are included.
Yeah. Okay, the one ship that I think everyone that knows us knows what we're talking about is the Crucible. At the very least, Algared would agree with me on this. Pick yourself up a Gemini to Crucible CCU for $10 and just sit on this ship, because it's going to go up in value. Everyone seems to underestimate repair. This and the Endeavour are the 2 ships me and Algared will just recommend to the cows come home, because they've got the most value to get out of them of all the ships.
And those 2 ships, this ship has not, I don't think it has moved in price since its original concept.
No.
That is the original concept price.
Yeah. And it's the same thing with the Endeavour. And that's just something that you just don't see that anymore.
Yeah. And they are, for those ships of that size, you don't get them at that price. That was,
So this ship's probably going to get a rework or a reconcepting before it comes out. Like ground vehicles were not a thing when this thing was announced, but you can see the ramp there on the screen. It's probably going to repair land vehicles as well.
And we know that it has to grow.
Yeah.
Because that cabin there was made, to be able to take small ships. And if you look at the wire mesh in game, it's got a Hornet in there, but that's the old model Hornet, and the Hornet has grown since then. So we know that has to grow just to fit.
It's got. I think the biggest ship we have at the moment. Then if the Legionnaire comes in, it'll be the Legionnaire. But currently, right now, it's the Freelancer, and it has to accommodate to fit a Freelancer. So yeah. All right. The based Hornet, good fighter again for me though. It's an earning game, but as always, if you like any particular ship that we say earning game, you can always buy it, try it out, and have an exit strategy to get to something else before release. Algared, anything you want to add to that?
apart from the usual comment I've been making, that hey, it is in-game, so it's flight ready, and you can fly it for free at the present.
Yeah.
So
I'd agree with that too. Yeah,
knock yourself out.
try all these today before you buy anything if
Yep.
it's flight ready. All right, Wildfire.
Wildfire, it's a pretty ship.
Yeah,
It's got nose art, and that's what you're paying for, because every other upgrade on this ship apart from the paint skin, you can get in-game.
Yep, and I'm with Algared on that. That just, if you do it in game, do it in game. Super Hornet. This will probably one of the ones that a lot of people do grab because this is not available all the time.
Yep.
I think much like the Wildfire, the other one that people grab is the Valentine's Day one, but the Super Hornet being in the 2-person variant, this is the one that most people tend to go for. But again, it's earnable in game. Earn it in game. You know, like save yourself.
But here's
some
a
money.
question for you with that Super Hornet. If you got a choice of a Super Hornet for a 2-player game, or say Hurricane, which one do you go for?
Well, at the moment, it would be the Hurricane. So, again, you're kind of waiting for armor for this, aren't you?
Yep.
So, yeah.
So, and Execute, I think I'd agree with him there. The Hurricane is much better for that 2-person gameplay. The only advantage the Hornet gets over that is the fact that if you don't have a second player, that top turret is slave to the pilot, and so it'll fire forward. Whereas the other 2-player ships, even the Gladiator, which was same vintage, if you don't have a second player in it, the top turret's dead. So it's one of the things I liked about the Hornet M, but I wish all the other turrets did the same. But yeah.
Same thing again with the Tracker and Ghost, so I'm just going to skip those because they fall into exactly the same category. One's for tracking stuff and one's for stealth, but there's slight variations of the same. I think the Gladiator falls into the same Algared. It is very fun to fly. I know you and I enjoy flying it. But I think it would you say it falls into the same?
It's certainly a buying game. It is a great ship to fly. I enjoy it. It is tanky for a bomber. It does remind me of the old World War II torpedo bombers, you know, the Dauntless type ones. But yeah, it's old, it's dated, it's clunky, it's heavy, it's slow. And yet it's still a ship I love to fly.
So these next two are the Hawk and the Hurricane. I would recommend both these in game as well. The really ironic thing that I like to point out, though, and Algared knows exactly what I'm going to say here. You got the Hawk for $100, you got the Hurricane for $195. But the funny thing is, in game, the Hawk is cheaper. So that really just shows you how much you want to buy both of these in game. Now, I'll tell you right now, one of the first ships I buy in game all the time when they reset the servers or whatever is the Hurricane. It's really good at the moment, but again, it's just not worth $195, especially when I can earn it in less than a day. So yeah, just again, if it's a thing for you though, you get it. You know, have an exit strategy because of the way ships are going to go up in value before release. I do think the Hawk is the better purchase considering you know the value of it. And if you're into bounty hunting, I can kind of get behind the Hawk because there's not a lot of ships in the bounty hunter range. But the Hurricane is an earning game for me. Algared, your thoughts on those two?
Yeah. And the problem for Hawk, I find at the moment, is the fact that while it is a bounty hunter ship, there is no real bounty hunter gameplay.
It's coming. It is coming.
It is
and
coming.
That is true. So at the moment, it's just another combat ship. That's true.
But what does set this ship apart from, say, any of the other, you know, apart from an arrow, or is the fact that at the back it's got the little container where you can sit your prisoner and lock him up and take him off to prison.
Yeah, it's pretty unique to fly too. It's a very different flight experience from some other ships, and obviously the EMP's not too bad either.
Yeah,
and most of the other EMP ships are not big fighters, so it gets fighting and EMP.
Yeah,
Legionnaire we talked about before.
Yep, watch our live stream from yesterday.
Yeah. Liberator, again, if you're into the Hercules, this is the better option, as in the M2. It does more. It doesn't cost that much more than an M2. I think it's like $30 it was last time. Algared, your thoughts on the Liberator?
Yeah, same as you. It's better value than a Herc if you're looking at the ship transportation and stuff. This has internal cargo. It's got landing pads. If the Legionnaire is a small pad ship, it will be able to be transported by the Liberator. So that's why we kind of questioning that size of that Legionnaire in terms of pad size. So
NFT, no fucking thanks for the Spartan. Algared, anything you want to add to the Spartan?
Big thing about the Spartan, one is a massive, great big armored transport ship. It is the first troop transport we've got where the seats are actually designed so that you could be wearing heavy armor. All the other seats are usually very close.
It's $60 extra to get to a ballista from a. That's like more than that's the whole Pisces package. What?
Yep.
What?
Yep.
That's laughable. Wow. Okay. Right. Wow. Okay. All right. I'm just moving on. Terrapin. I like this ship. It's just way too expensive for what it is.
Yep. I like this ship. Its gameplay still isn't there. Because it is basically a scout. And as I say, it is the ultimate scout, I think. It is.
Yep.
It has a utility mount that takes 2 size 2 additional scanners. It's very tanky. Its unique feature is the fact that you can actually lock it all up and kind of turn it into a turtle shell, hence the name Terrapin.
I think it's been labelled with that rule of cool thing. Like, people really like that armoured look, and I think that's why it got overpriced. But yeah. Yeah,
well, I think that's why the Legionnaire kind of picks up that look as well. But
last ship of the day, Valkyrie, is also the one with a discount Warbond CCU. So this is the first one in your chains if you're working on it, and it gives a $25 discount. So if you're working on your CCU chains, this is the one that you pick up. I stupidly did not look at the ship beforehand though. Yeah, let's just do it now. Why not? So buying options, upgrade now. And we go in here and type in the Valkyrie. And so the next cheat closest to the Valkyrie would be... Oh, these are my ships. I don't want my ships. I want all the ships. Yeah. So there you go. You got a Starfarer Gemini. That's not a very good CC. Oh, $10, but then you get a $25 off. So that's not too bad. So yeah, you'd be looking at Gemini. That's pretty good actually. $10 is pretty standard. 5 to 10 is what you usually get, don't you, Hagrid?
Yep.
So yeah,
and the thing is, like,
you're spending 10, you're spending 10 and you're saving 25. Yep.
And then you do a CCU from the Gemini down to the next ship.
Yep.
And if you get a Warbond for that, you might save another $10 and vice versa. And so you get 6 chains, you might get, you're going to get 30 to $60 off once you chain them all together. But it takes patience.
Can't get behind any of their packages because of the way Warbond CCUs work now. Buying ships at full price is just silly, and you just don't save enough money in any of the packs. So you'll never see me recommending any packs. And I think, Algared, you'd kind of agree on that. Yeah, these packs are just too expensive for what they are.
When I was looking at the I think they had the 100i as a starter pack today, as a Warbond starter pack. There was no difference in the Warbond starter pack for the 100i than there was for the standard one. It was just
So last but not least, we've got a few paints going with the blue and gold theme. Sorry, these are in Australian pricing. I can very quickly put them in US pricing. Once I can find America in the list. There we go. But basically, yeah, they're just all that dark blue and gold, so I can take it or leave it at $7. We've also got one here for the Hawk. Algared, any thoughts on those skins for the Hawk or the Hornet?
And the one for the Avenger just reminded me of the very similar to that special.
Yeah, but you can only get that one in the package, unfortunately. Yeah. There's also 2 new skins for the Pisces that are basically versions of black. Again, take it or leave it if you're into the Pisces. I can take it or leave it personally. We already went through these packages. Yeah, so this is the skin Algared's talking about, but it only comes in the starter package.
Yep.
So if
but it also reminds me of that light special skin. The blue and the other blue and yellow one.
Yeah, I can't remember the name off the top of my head.
I can't remember the name of it, but that's what it reminds me of.
Legacy of Flight or whatever.
Legacy of the Legends of Flight type.
Yeah, that's it.
One.
All right.
But yeah.
Well, with all that said and done, then I think that's the end of
day
Anvil,
one.
Yeah, day one. We'll have a day off and get some sleep, and then we'll be back for what's some Aegis.
Aegis.
Don't know who.
The other company that is basically the same to me, they just name Anvil always look the same. I never get them right.
And
I'm
hopefully,
always getting those two wrong.
hopefully Osiris will be joining me for that one. So yeah, again, if you want to win yourself a Legionnaire, leave us a comment, be subscribed, and leave a comment below, and we'll select one at random at the very last episode of Invictus, which will be on 30th, I believe, and you could win yourself a Legionnaire. All right, with that then, like this video,
like, subscribe,
and all that
hit that
stuff.
bell. If you want to go the extra mile, join us on Patreon. We're always staggered and blown away when people do support our content. It does help us do stuff. You can also become a YouTube member these days. We did activate it. We finally worked out, even though we'd been saying, hey, it's activated, we didn't have it activated. It is activated now. And there's even that super chat, like
Thanks.
click a little dollar sign and say thanks.
Yeah, it's called thanks. Yeah.
So you want to go that extra mile, we would be absolutely appreciative. It does help us a lot, especially if Execute needs to get a new camera.
Let us know your comments below as well on any ships or anything you think we missed as well. There does seem to be, other than Legionnaire, they kind of killed it yesterday, I think. So I was expecting that C8R, but we didn't end up seeing that.
But you'd heard about. Yep. It would be nice to see a variation of the C8, because we had we'd always speculated or expected, not speculated, but we'd always expected that the C8R would have that scanner rack we kind of saw in some very early concepts.
Well, the original prices we wanted the scanner,
and we always thought, oh, that's great, because it makes this large explorer ship be able to send a ship through a small jump point and map it and do all the other stuff and then come back. But that didn't eventuate, so we'd love to see variations of the Pisces. So yeah.
All right.
But I think
with that,
I do think you're right.
He's been Algared, I've been Execute, and
we're out of here.
Catch you in 48 hours.